Okay, so I am creating a PowerPoint presentation on how to use MDL to build a web page. And the first place I go to, first place I look for information is google.com. And I go there because it's my preference of a search engine. It gives all the great information I need as opposed to Bing and Yahoo. So the first thing that I do, I just type in MDL and I pretty much see what I get. And I just scroll to kind of see what my options are first. And I don't usually go to the second page, I usually stay on the first page. Most likely I pick the top three. So I'll click the first one, and it sent me right to this site. And usually I would just, first thing I do is kind of skim through each tab or the information on the website to kind of see how much information there is on this web page and if I need it, what looks good. I look for keywords. So I see getting started right here. I'm already on this page. So right now I'm just looking, scrolling through. And right now I'm just reading what's on this page. See if there's anything I could use. Okay, so now that I see that this website is useful, the way I keep up with my information is that I don't click out of it. I just start a new tab and I go back on Google and I look up something else. So I noticed that it didn't exactly tell me what MDL was, so now I'm going to type in to the search engine, what is MDL? Just to kind of start. And if Google gives me the meaning on the little page and the little square, I usually just read through that and I click on the link to give me some information on the meaning. And it looks like it gave me that. So I'll be saving this source the same way. And usually, the way I usually start off my PowerPoints, I usually do start off with what is such and such. So I usually just copy, paste, and then I kind of like change words around to terms that I can understand and terms that are easier for my audience to understand. So I would usually just highlight the meaning, the definition, hit, copy, and I would paste it on a PowerPoint and change around a few words. And after that, I would kind of just go to a new tab just to keep that open. And now I'm going back to this other tab and I'm going to look through how to start a web page. So I'm looking at templates. And assuming that this presentation is at a set time, I would start by showing them the template page and showing them that it's already the layout's already made for you. And I would pick something simple. Now I'm hitting preview. And it's loading. Okay, well, it's kind of slow, but usually I would just kind of preview the layout, and I would provide a screenshot of the preview along with a link for this particular preview and another link for the page that has the previews on it, just so if this presentation was shared to the audience, they're able to click through to see the other templates and whatnot. And that would be, I guess, step one of building your website. And then I would move on to the next slide, and I would talk a little bit about components. So now I'm going to click components. Oh, and I think the internet went out.
I wonder if we're on the same page.
Oh, okay.
I found that. I did a quick Google search. Everybody's on the internet today. Try it now and see.
Okay, thank you. Components. Alright.
You had me curious about India.
Yeah. Where was I? Okay, so now I'm looking at components to kind of get a feel of the different things that you can use to help build your web page and make it your own. So right now, I would usually just click through them, see what it is, and we're going to do buttons. And so I usually just like to tap around to see what it does, and we'll kind of like read through it. I noticed that there's not much information on buttons, so what I would usually do if I wanted to provide information on a slide, I would just go back to Google, keep the tab up that I was using previously, and I'm going to type in MDL and buttons to see if I could get any information on that. And this also helps me kind of explain, what the buttons are used for and how they could be beneficial to the web page. Okay, so I clicked on the second link, or the third, one or the other. Yeah, the second link. And right now I am just going through. So it says right here. So I'm reading, and if I see something that I can add to the slide without it being too wordy, I usually just copy paste, change a few words, and later kind of explain. If it was a presentation, I would kind of explain to the audience this sentence right here. And I usually keep all tabs up until I'm completely done with my research, just so when I do cite my sources, the links are already there. And I usually go on Google Drive to save the links in case my computer dies or I step away for a little bit and my computer just decides to just do its own thing and wipe everything clean. Usually use Google Drive to kind of save it. So now I'm going back to my first tab, and I'm kind of just going through each one. So I can kind of get a feel of what I can use. And usually I would try to, if it's a how-to kind of presentation, I would try to learn how to do it myself, because I feel like if I learn how to do it, it's easier for me to explain to other people how to do it. So as I'm researching, I'm also kind of playing around with it myself. And I would show my end results in a screenshot. I see the FAQ tab over here, and I'm just going to read through these because these might be questions that the audience might ask me. So I'm going to click and use this. And I usually don't, if it's a PowerPoint presentation, I usually don't add too many words to it. This FAQ will usually just be for me to understand and for me to help answer questions to the best of my ability. So I would kind of just use this as a reference rather than adding this to my slides. Right now I'm just reading it. Which browsers do MDO support? And if it's like a general question, something I know that they might ask, I might put it on the PowerPoint presentation, but if it's not, I kind of just use that as a reference, like I said. So after I've done all my research and I gathered all my information, I've done the PowerPoint presentation, I have to add references, of course. And so I usually just Google site, web pages, MLA, and I use MLA because I was always taught to use MLA. I think I've only used like APA maybe once. And I usually just click the first link I see, and I would go through the process of copying the well, I would copy the web link and paste it in here. And then I would hit search and then select. And I use a format generator because citations aren't my strong suit, and this kind of helps cite my sources. So now that the information's found, I go to the final step and I pretty much just fill in what I need to fill in if I can find it. and I just copy and paste, and I add it to the end of my, to the last slide, which would usually be my reference page. Okay.